When I tell you that I have spent months and months taking swimwear sessions for girls who take my workshops to teach them how to be comfortable in their bikinis, in their monokinis, how to open their sarongs, the different styles, it has been gratifying. So you best believe that when I will be reviewing today's Miss Universe India swimsuit edition, you will have a lot to take away from. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Lekh Uthaiah. I am your Femina Miss India Punjab 2022. After which I have been a model, I have been a content creator, and I am the founder and pageant coach at ELEKHTRA. It is not a surprise anymore because I've announced it a lot of times that we are planning to go on ground in Bangalore. Up until now, all the sessions were online, but if you still do want to book sessions online, that is available in the description. We do train for your walk, your talk, your posing, your expressions, so on and so forth. Check all of that in the description. But if you want to join the waitlist and be one of the first ones to know what workshop is happening in Bangalore, you can go to the link in my description which says WhatsApp community, which has over 500 like-minded women like you and me. There's a group invite there. Go join in and you will be the first to know what is upcoming. In my last video, I did discuss the sashing ceremony, but specifically with the intention of the kind of gowns the girls were wearing and how they were moving with it and how they were looking at it based on their styling, their outfit, etc. I also have a little resource book which I am actually putting in the description. You can buy it for just $2.99 and get access to all the designers that these girls have hired from, sourced from, etc. What we are going to be discussing today is the swimsuit round that happened in Bangalore. Although the pageant is happening in Rajasthan, the girls were flown down to Wonderla because that is their hospitality partner, and they had their swimsuit rounds here, which I was really impressed with because it really makes sense to be wearing a swimsuit with water body around. But what we did not expect is the live stream to have such poor camera angles. In fact, as I speak, the video from the official page has been taken down and apparently is being re-uploaded by the evening. So I'm sure we'll see better camera angles, something that can stay. And I do understand the effort that Nikhil and the team is putting in to make sure that the audience is connected to what is happening live. Camera, because that's the only way we can connect with the girls, is super important. And I do feel like it could have done a lot better. But having said that, there are multiple channels who have streamed it. And from that, we're going to start discussing certain contestants and certain mistakes that they made, probably certain things they did great, probably, and in the end you should feel like you know how to walk in a bikini or a monokini a little better. When it comes to contestant number 2, we do notice her end head ramp pose has this hand out, and I do think a sarong in the hand would have made a lot more sense because this probably helps when you're wearing a gown and posing, because a hand out just accentuates your figure rather than putting your hand on top. But when it comes to a swimsuit round, you could have hands on top unless there was a sarong to play with. Contestant number 4, Annie Sharma, I do feel like her entrance was really rushed because she twirls so fast, she kind of loses the line that she needs to walk in, and a lot of twirls require you to slow down, and if you're doing it really fast, you need to also practice it that well so that you can go in the straight line. And I think even when it comes to the head ramp, I think she was moving too fast, and it's not just her, a lot of girls, I think before you take a second to pose, you're again taking a turn, you're again turning around, you're again opening your leg, you're again walking, again opening. Figure out what you're gonna do before you walk in. You know what the stage looks like, and even if you don't, even if you're walking in there for the first time, think of at least 3 poses and stick to that. Don't keep moving around so much. You won't be photographed. You won't be photographed as well, and it looks too distracting. When it comes to contestant 7, I really like that she just opens the sarong with one hand and then starts to walk. She looks amazing. She's really tall, so just the monokini looks brilliant on her. But I do think that she can reduce the editorial face. I think it's a lot of seriousness, and swimwear is supposed to be flirty. It's supposed to give a little bit of flirt with your eyes, which I think has been missing in a lot of fan favorite contenders. But moving on, with contestant number 8, I really like that she starts by looking and then opens her thing, and she uses this as a dupatta, or the way people call it, a Scandinavian scarf, and then starts to walk. It's not on her waist, it's on her neck. I think it's really cool. When it comes to contestant number 11, Diksha, the biggest mistake that she's making is she's not holding the sarong properly. Holding a sarong with both the hands in the beginning will obviously let it get stuck in the sash if you try to remove it from one hand. Either you hold it from outside the sash and just learn how to work with it better. Muthi mein karna a sarong is never a good idea because that just makes it difficult to move it around. Don't do that. Then we have another Diksha, contestant number 12, who actually aces it. Like, in from the beginning. I think she was really good up until now. Flawless execution, strides are long, good control over the sarong, looks really nice. I think even though she has short hair, whatever the hair is doing really well for her face. Body is banging, no notes. Then we have Dipali Ria, contestant number 13, who does a really cool opening and she throws it and catches it and takes a turn. Brilliant execution. That can be very risky and can go both ways, so that just shows that she's got great practice, and I think she really knows how to work with her body, because I teach this to girls as well, that if you are someone like me, okay, if you have an hourglass figure, it's better to like hold your waist like this, because that kind of cinches your waist and makes it look thinner. But she's already petite, so her thing of doing like a superwoman, which is a closed fist and hand out and walking that way, just makes you look a lot more powerful, and she carries that beautifully. When it comes to Harshita Sahu, everything that had to go wrong went wrong. She messed up her very entry because she started walking before her name was called out, so she had to go back and readjust. That itself loses energy. And then when she's walking, it's a clear case of bent knees. If you've been to my classes, you know how much I try to tell you why you shouldn't have bent knees and how you can place your leg to avoid that. But this was just one of those classic cases, because you can see it from the side. And even though it was no mark show or something that I read somewhere, girls were clearly told to come to the middle of the camera, but Harshita, as usual, goes to a side and then realizes that she has to slide through, and she does that. Just bad luck. Now I'm going to mention 3 girls whose paces were so slow they might as well have been in a ball gown round, because one thing that a coach teaches you is that there is pace difference between when you wear a gown, between when you wear a dress, between when you wear a swimsuit, and these 3 girls clearly didn't catch that clue. For example, let's start with Hasita Narayana. She also was really slow when she was walking. She was really struggling to keep herself up on the thing. And even when you open the sarong, you cannot open it and continue to walk in the same pace. Your walk needs to be faster if your twirl is slow. Not everything can be in the same pace. Please remember that. The next one is Pema. She looked lovely in the sashing gown. You remember I was speaking about her with all those florals, and I thought her bangs were really doing it for her. But in the swimsuit round, I really think she could have picked herself up. If you watch the clip, you'll realize she's walking so slowly to a point where you want to increase the speed of the video. Everything is done really slow. Everything is so meticulous to a point where she takes twice as long as other girls to reach to her actual spot. The next one is Pura Sumpi. Again, really slow walk. Might as well have just been like a big Cinderella gown, because that's when the space makes sense. Not in swimwear, girls. When it comes to Karishma, I do think that she should cut her hair because it's really long, and if she's doing any styling, it's not holding, which is why a lot of the times you are suggested to get your hair at least up until shoulder length. But apart from that, she also needs to really focus on pushing her shoulders back, because she is so petite. Even a little bit of shrug, especially from the side angle, looks like she's shrugging a lot. But I do have to say her twirls are really well controlled. Next we come to Kezia. I really like that long hair and the extensions that's put in. I do think Kezia does really well in gown rounds, but in this, I wanted to see something different in terms of expressions, in terms of pacing, in terms of, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I think she's done everything really well, but I do think she played it a little safe and could have gone a little all out. So she does have another chance. I do think a little more of sarong action would have just oomed up her profile. Let's talk about Lal Rinchani. I really like the body. I think after very long, I'm actually seeing the hips doing the extended movement that it should when you walk, and she's doing that really well. The body has a language of its own, right? When you are learning ramp walk, of course, expressions matter a lot, which for some reason a lot of the girls missed, maybe because there were cameras that they weren't able to figure out where is what. I don't know what really happened on ground, but in terms of body, it needs to change. Like, you can have a more statuesque body when you're wearing a gown, because being too slingy with your body in that would not look good. But when it comes to swimwear, because more of your like torso is seen, you should be able to create these waves, and she's done that perfectly. I have to mention Lekhna, because I think her moves were really clean as compared to a lot of girls who are just doing a lot, because I think it'll give them any sort of brownie points. She starts with first a turn and poses, and then she takes another turn and then opens her sarong, and then she starts to walk. And until now, I think she's the only girl who looks at the second camera. As soon as it switches from the front to the next one, she gives a twirl and then looks at the second camera. I like that. Camera awareness is so important. Let's talk about Mannat. I do think that even though one hand is on the waist, the other hand, instead of moving her deltoids that I teach a lot of students, she ends up moving her hand like a wave, like it's breaking from the elbow, and it just looks really distracting. So try to avoid that. There's no correct, proper way, and I'm not saying everybody has to walk in the same manner, but don't do things that distracts from your body. Let's all learn something from Pinky Basumatri. She does this thing where even though she goes off center from the camera, instead of doing anything awkward like other girls have, she finds a way to just like take a turn and come into the middle of the camera. So that's really smart. Comes with confidence, comes with practice. I am so impressed with Pramati Rana. Like my jaw dropped when I was looking at her. Have you seen how flawlessly she executes that double turn? That must have had so much of practice that went into it to be able to do that so well and so quickly on stage. Bravo. Using Preeti Yadav here just as an example to tell you that your parts of the body, everything needs awareness, including your palm. You see, her palm is so loose when she's walking, it's like it has no life of its own. And I actually learned this in contemporary dance, that especially your extremities, which is your fingers and your toes, our brain sends message to it last. So you need to train in such a way that even the tips of your body is in your control and is not moving as if independent. Riya Tirke again does a really good job with her swimwear. It's really nice. It's very structured. The body lines are perfect. But I do think, again, she played it really safe. I didn't see too much playfulness coming from her. I don't know if these girls were instructed, no smiling, make sure you keep a straight face. But Miss Universe walk needs to have a little more warmth. This is not your high fashion editorial walk. So I do feel like a little warmth coming from her and a little more experimentation, since she's been doing this for so long and she has good control over her body. I do think she could have played more with her moves. I have to talk about Rupali, the girl who looks like Bipasha Basu. I don't think she's really learned how to do a twirl in a twirl way with the heels. So, I mean, she just like goes around like this. Whee! And then continues. Girl, I haven't seen this name in a lot of analyses and I don't know why. Sanvaka Surong does the most perfect walk there is. Her expressions, which have been missing in a lot of girls because they've just kept a very stern face, is so on point with swimwear. I cannot even tell you, like I didn't even focus on her walk as much, although I was trying to, because her face was so captivating. Like her eye contact with the camera has been so good. When the girls are walking, they're just looking straight and walking. You know that there's a camera following you. Try to look at it. I know you need to hit your mark, but you can occasionally keep an eye out, and she does that. She does that beautifully. She executes every move she has with so much composure. The pacing is perfect. The expressions are perfect. The hair flip is perfect. The sarong management is perfect. Girl, you won this. I want to give a shout out to Shreya Bedia. I do think the hair that I pinpointed from the sashing ceremony has improved so amazingly. I think that's really doing for her. Girls, if you are somebody who has the forehead that is in proportion larger, I think this is a brilliant way to do your hair. I really like that the hair tips are actually staying upright. The hair extensions look lovely. She looks amazing. The makeup looks great. This is a huge improvement, and that's when I say pageants really help you grow exponentially while you're in it. Let's talk about Sneh Tikku and the fact that the poor girl tripped in the beginning. I'm only pointing this out because I want you to know that shuru mein hi itne sare turns mat karo. Don't make so many turns that eventually you'll kind of trip back, because that is going to ruin the mood for you completely. Although she does pick it up really well. If you hadn't seen that, you probably wouldn't have realized that she tripped, which is good, right? Confidence is what matters, because stuff happens on stage with high heels and just swimsuit wear, etc. But even when she's trying to pose at the head ramp, she barely holds a pose for 0.5 seconds. Girls, thumb rule, hold pose for at least 3 seconds. Get photographed. 1, 2, 3, and then turn. Now what is this itna kyun hil rahe ho sab log? Spurti is a lovely girl. I think she's the only girl who has like perfectly permed hair, and she's using that instead of blow drying it. I love girls who are accepting of all of their genetic gifts, but at the same time I do think she should have used invisibles. Girls, if you have big hair, especially the permed ones which can singularly come on your face and you're doing an outdoor walk, ask your makeup artist or hairstylist for invisibles, so they don't show on your hair, but they are clips that just go and tuck in certain strands of your hair so that they don't come on your face. Because I was distracted, I couldn't really focus on her walk because she kept taking the hair off her face. Using Shrishti here as an example only to tell you, if you want to open your your sarong with 2 hands, you can see that she starts to struggle when she wants to open it, and that just does not look great because the camera is so close to you. If you want to open your sarong with both hands and don't always want to just pull it out with one, you can walk, but when you are about to turn, that's when you open it and come out open. You don't come till here and then kholo, because that just looks a little lewd. So keep that in mind. Open the sarong and turn. While you are turning, open. Okay? We're almost at the end. I think Shri Tara, I really have to mention her because of her strides with so much of bent knees and so careful steps that girls are taking. It was so refreshing to see really nice long strides, which you really can use during swimwear, because that's when you have no restrictions in terms of your gown and things really like making you feel constricted. And she's really used that. And finally, I end this video with Tejaswini. Brilliant execution of everything. The face looks great. The body is tea. And do you see how flawless the walk is? Like, even when she opens her sarong, even though she's walking with it using 2 hands, at no point of time does it feel too much. You know, she just has everything pinned down properly, and you can see that it's practice that has come to its fruition. And with that, we actually come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. And if anybody has watched till the end, I want you to comment a little bikini emoji and say all girls were amazing, because I do believe that, because I'm a coach and because it's my duty to correct people, because I know a lot of you learn through my videos as well. I have to mention certain people, but at the same time, I know that it is not easy, especially from a country like India, to just walk around in swimwear, walk around in bikinis, walk around without sarongs. It takes a lot of confidence, and I know that these girls will come out of the other end of it, regardless of what the results is, with just so much of a personality that would have developed. And you know, one more thing that I want to tell you is that when you start wearing like clothes like this, if you weren't brought up wearing, your parents didn't take you to beaches and give you little bikinis to wear since you were a child. So, and if you come from a family where a lot of your respect is tied down to your body, like औरत की respect या उसकी इज्जत उसके कपड़ों में होती है, if that's what you've been taught, to unlearn that in platforms like this is so empowering. Sure, a lot of people will call it like a male gaze sort of a thing, but what I'm telling you is that it just gives you the confidence boost that you carry in a lot of other aspects of your life. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.